Our devotional thought today from the New Testament comes from our reading in the book of Matthew, Matthew chapter 12. Now, before we read a small text today, I want to remind you what Jesus told them earlier. In Matthew 9, verse 13, Jesus said, "Go and learn the meaning of this scripture. I want you to show mercy, not offer sacrifices." He said, go and learn what this means. He said, you need to go and learn something. Now, it's interesting when Jesus, he didn't say, come sit down with me and let me teach you this. He said, you need to go and learn what this scripture means. I want you to show mercy, not offer sacrifice. For I have come to call not those who think they are righteous, but those who know that they are sinners. And now, just a few chapters later, for our text today, Matthew chapter 12, verse 7, Jesus looks at these people and he said, you would not have condemned my innocent disciples if you had known the meaning of this scripture. I want you to show mercy and not offer sacrifices. He said, you would not have condemned my innocent disciples if you'd gone and done what I asked you to do and learned what this verse means. I desire mercy and not sacrifice. Now, what was actually going on is the disciples had just been walking through the fields, and it was lunchtime, and they were hungry. Matthew 12, verse 1 and 2, about that time, Jesus was walking through some of the grain fields on the Sabbath, and the disciples were hungry, so they began breaking off some of the heads of the grain and eating it. In other words, they would just strip some wheat off and then rub it together in their hands and eat it like you and I would eat peanuts today. But some of the Pharisees saw them and protested and said, look, your disciples are breaking the law by harvesting grain on the Sabbath. And Jesus taught them a lot of things here in verses 3 to 6. He said, listen, if you'd looked at other verses in the Bible, not just the one that you want to pick and choose, if you'd studied everything in context and you saw all that God said, not just some one thing that God said, he said, you would not have been saying this. He said, if you really knew who I was, he said, if you really know who I am, that I am the Lord of the Sabbath, you wouldn't have done this. But he said, bottom line, you've never learned mercy. Now, brothers and sisters, I find a lot of Christians sitting in condemnation of other Christians today because they know what one verse says, but forgive me, they haven't read the rest of the Bible. It's like they've done a Google search on something that they don't like about somebody. And on the basis of that Google search, then they stand up and tell everybody, Number one, they need to go study the rest of the scriptures. But number two, their heart would have never been like that if they had ever learned about mercy. Please, beloved, please, all of us as Christians need to learn what mercy is all about.